Oh, won't you take a break? Won't you take a break with me?
But Big Bird almost still wants to play.
Let's just be quiet for a second, okay?
Sure.
Good evening. In the news tonight, area firefighters have been busy over the past 24 hours. And President Bush arrives in Pakistan after signing a historic nuclear agreement with India.
In sports, boys sectional action resumes tonight, and Vincennes University is in the market for a new athletic director.
Newscenter 22 is next. A Vincennes Fire Department and State Fire Marshal's Office are investigating an early morning fire that destroyed a garage and extensively damaged a home at 418 West Jefferson. Vincennes Fire Chief Joe Yoakum says the detached two-story garage, which contained a recording studio, was fully involved when firefighters arrived. High winds spread the fire to the house. Yoakum says firefighters prevented the fire from spreading to a neighboring house and a garage. The house was occupied by Tracy Arnold and owned by Tom and Loretta Arnold. No one was injured. An investigation is underway into the cause of a Thursday afternoon fire that destroyed a mobile home on Ferry Road in Knox County. Vincennes Township firefighters were called to the home of Wayne Cummings shortly after 5 o'clock. There were no injuries. Fire Chief Tim Smith says the fire is suspicious in nature and is under investigation by his department and the Knox County Sheriff. The Illinois Arson Bureau is investigating a fire that destroyed a rural Lawrence County home Thursday afternoon. Lawrence Allison Fire Chief Chuck Potts says firefighters were called to the house rented by James Williams on Illinois Route 33 shortly after 3 p.m. Thursday. Potts says the building was a total loss with damage estimated $20,000. The house is owned by Joe Muzin of Vincennes. Vincennes Township firefighters assisted Lawrence County in putting out the fire. No injuries were reported. Governor Mitch Daniels' highway plan is leading to a conference committee where compromises between House and Senate versions of the legislation will be sought. The Senate voted 29-20 Thursday to approve a revised version of the plan. Significant differences between the House and the Senate versions must be reconciled if the bill is to reach the governor's desk by the regular session deadline of March 14th. The bill would give the governor the authority to lease the Indiana Toll Road to a private operator for nearly $4 billion. Proponents say lease money will help pay for numerous highway projects. Opponents say it's a risky financial deal that was hastily arranged. Governor Daniels signed a bill Thursday making it a felony to engage in disorderly conduct within 500 feet of a funeral. The law stems from protests by a Kansas-based group at the funerals of Indiana soldiers. The protesters from Westboro Baptist Church claim soldiers are dying in Iraq because the United States supports homosexuals. That law will be in effect for next week's funeral of an Army sergeant from Kokomo who was killed in Iraq. Prosecutors in the trial of a former Indiana State Trooper charged with killing his wife and 2 children say there's no sign of an impasse as jurors are in their 4th day of deliberations today. Floyd County Prosecutor Keith Henderson says there has been only one question from jurors since they took the case on Tuesday. Jurors met for about 10 hours yesterday, giving them about 33 hours of deliberations since Tuesday. A railway employee at an Illinois metro station is dead after an SUV barreled into the station this morning. The crash happened just past 6 a.m. local time. Police are on a manhunt for the driver of the vehicle who fled the scene just after the crash. A Metro spokesperson says part of the station is damaged, but Metro passengers can continue boarding the trains from platforms as usual. The University of Illinois and the state of Illinois are teaming up to give soldiers coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan a chance for a business school scholarship. The U of I is awarding up to 110 new scholarships for Illinois-based veterans and active duty military personnel. The Indiana Civil Liberties Union is challenging a state scholarship program, saying its requirements are unconstitutional. An ICLU lawsuit claims eligibility requirements for the 21st Century Scholars Program discriminates against American-born students who aren't U.S. citizens or legal aliens. The union's legal director, Ken Falk, estimates more than 10,000 lower-income Indiana children have been denied scholarships because of the policy. The lawsuit seeks to offer students denied scholarships another chance to apply. A nationwide study finds that Indiana's black third graders have narrowed their performance gap with white classmates on statewide exams. The Education Trust Fund studied ISTEP Plus scores from 2002 to 2004. It found mixed results among Hispanic students. Still to come on Newscenter 22, President Bush is in Pakistan amid extraordinary security, and Iran has failed to work out a deal on its nuclear program with Russia, and now it's failed with Europe. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Dan Elias, inviting you to Antiques Roadshow. We've got America's leading experts helping us search for hidden treasures and telling the stories behind them.
This is the second piece I've had my hands on in 31 years.
I'm thrilled. I paid $1 for it.
That's incredible.
Wow.
It's Antiques Roadshow next time from New Orleans, Louisiana. Don't miss it.
President Bush has begun a brief visit to Pakistan amid tight security. Air Force One landed at an air base near Islamabad after dark with its lights off and window shades pulled down. A banner strung across an airport building described Bush as a friend of Pakistan. Crowds in several Pakistani cities are greeting President Bush's visit with burning U.S. flags and chants of death to Bush. Witnesses say Karachi police are swinging clubs and firing tear gas to keep crowds away from the U.S. consulate. President Bush is touting India as a key U.S. export market, not just a place where U.S. companies outsource back office work. On a visit to the Indian School of Business in the southern city of Hyderabad, the president called India a wonderful opportunity for trade. Speaking to young business students and owners, he said it's been painful for U.S. workers who've lost jobs to India, but he says U.S. companies stand to sell lots of goods and services to a country with a vast middle class of some 3 million people. And Bush says America must never retrench in the face of globalization. The top U.S. military commander in Iraq is playing down suggestions that Iraq is headed for civil war despite the recent violence. General George Casey says the crisis appears to have passed after days of bloodshed between religious sects. But Casey says that a major new terrorist attack would threaten this stability. He says Iraqis have risen to the occasion since the attack on a major mosque, and that in 8 of Iraq's 18 provinces, there has been little or no reaction to the bombing.
Candidly, in the initial days following the bombing, these days were kind of a confusing jumble of exaggerated reporting that actually took us a few days to kind of sort through. What did we find? First of all, the overall levels of violence did not increase substantially as a result of the bombing. In fact, the levels of violence the week after the bombing, were comparable to the 2 previous weeks. Second, the nature of the violence did in fact change, with attacks on mosques and civilian killings increasing initially and then gradually tapering off.
Casey added that Iraqi security forces performed generally well and that there has been improved coordination between the army and police. Baghdad's been mostly quiet today amid a private vehicle ban. South of the city, a mortar shell killed 1 person and wounded another at a market, and Iraqi police found 2 more handcuffed bodies. Last night, gunmen stormed a power station and killed Shiite brick workers in a separate attack. Iran has failed to work out a deal on its nuclear program with Russia, and now it's failed with Europe. Talks today between Iran's chief nuclear negotiator and representatives of Britain, Germany, and France have broken off without agreement. France's foreign minister says the Iranians would not agree to full and complete suspension of uranium enrichment activities. Iran says it wants that capability for nuclear power, but it can also be used for bombs. A Russian official tells the Associated Press the enrichment issue was also a deal breaker in talks that ended yesterday in Moscow. Russia, with the blessing of the U.S. and Europe, has offered to supply Iran with enriched uranium. The impasse comes in advance of Monday's meeting of the International Atomic Energy Agency. The board has begun the process of sending the issue to the UN Security Council. A leading Republican says he'll try to scuttle the controversial reports deal. House Armed Services Committee Chairman Duncan Hunter says Dubai cannot be trusted. He calls the United Arab Emirates a bazaar for terrorist nation. On the other side of the Capitol, the chairman of the Senate Banking Committee says the administration needs to reconsider its approach to sales of assets to foreign-owned companies. Senator Richard Shelby says the deal shows there are significant gaps in the existing process. Confusion over Hurricane Katrina is evident in another video obtained by the Associated Press. In the video, Louisiana's governor is heard telling the Bush administration New Orleans levees were holding 3 hours after the National Weather Service got a report they were breached. It's another victim of the slumping U.S. auto industry. A maker of auto parts, Dana Corporation, has filed for bankruptcy protection for its U.S. operations. It says it lost nearly $1.3 billion in the third quarter last year. A leading supplier of axle, drive shaft, engine, frame, and transmission technologies, Dana employs 46,000 people in 28 countries. The company is based in Toledo, Ohio, and reported sales of $9.1 billion in 2004. The 19-year-old nicknamed the Cell Phone Bandit is headed to prison. A federal judge in Virginia sentenced Candace Martinez to 12 years behind bars for her role in 4 Virginia bank robberies. The heist last fall netted more than $48,000. Less than 10% has been recovered. The Justice Department wants to know if there is price fixing on online music. It has started an investigation to find out. 2 record industry officials say the investigation is essentially the same as the one New York Attorney General Eliot Spencer started in December. The Justice Department isn't naming the companies it has targeted, but there are only 4 major labels in the recording industry. Officials say 2 of them, Universal and Warner, have been told by the Justice Department to expect a formal demand for information. None of the 4 recording labels have commented publicly on the federal probe. Pumping iron can help aging women fight tummy fat. A study presented today at the American Heart Association conference in Phoenix finds just 2 one-hour sessions of lifting weights a week can slow increase intra-abdominal fat and cut body fat percentage. A teacher at Longmeadows Heritage Academy in Massachusetts has found a good way to get young students interested in reading by celebrating the birth of Dr. Seuss. Tom Parnell reports.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Raise your hand if you know why you're here.
The hands shoot up in the sky and eyes begin to dance for a day to celebrate reading.
It's Dr. Seuss's birthday.
They've been reading lots of Dr. Seuss books. They found out that Dr. Seuss books aren't as easy as they thought to read.
Should we have a red nose or a white nose?
Red.
The greatest gift to a doctor dedicated to the written word finds Read Across America honoring Springfield's son.
The top you color red, and then you skip one, you color red, you skip another one, you color it red.
Along with the striped top hat, a little face paint transforms this kindergarten class into their favorite cat. But listen closely and you'll hear more than just the rhymes that make Seuss's tales spin.
That's the kind of house I live in. There's a nink in the sink and a zamp in the lamp. And they're rather nice, I think.
The National Education Association's dedication to reading finds kids devouring stories and books at an earlier age.
We have kindergartners that are now coming in reading. When I started teaching 25 years ago, that didn't happen.
Well, the story doesn't end there.
ככה זה אצלי בבית. יש לי פיור בכיור, ושנורה במנורה. הם דווקא נחמדים נורא.
This page turner calls for culture at Longmeadows Heritage Academy.
It gives them the chance to learn their language that goes along with their heritage, but it also gives us a chance to integrate both the English and the Hebrew together.
So grab a Seuss sandwich and find some time to get away from the TV and enter a world of words that only a book could tell.
If you just watch TV the whole day, like all your mind would be after that would be a tiny blob of nothing.
Reporting in Longmeadow, I'm Tom Parnell, ABC 40.
A kindergartner in Wisconsin found a new way to cut class on Tuesday afternoon. A 5-year-old boy snuck out of his classroom and stole a school bus. The bus driver apparently went to throw out some trash and left the bus running. Well, the boy took the bus on a joyride before eventually crashing it into a parked car, a tree, a light pole, and then a school fence. Fortunately, no one was injured. The bus driver has been suspended while under investigation. No word on the punishment for the 5-year-old. Still to come on Newscenter 22, Michael Nice has this weekend's forecast.
Are dolphins intelligent? By anybody's standards, the answer is yes.
You tell me what's different? Color. That's right.
I think rats are very intelligent animals. I think they do actually think.
After decades of research, do we finally know how animals think? A meeting of the minds next time on Inside the Animal Mind.
So, Michael, I hear we have some snow in the forecast.
That's right, Kristen. We do have a chance later on in the weekend for some solid precipitation in the form of some ice or possibly snow. More on that in a minute, though, and as we go outside to our tower cam, we can take a look at 6th Street and US 41 here in Vincennes. Not too bad of a day outside. We have sunny skies out at the airport, 48 degrees. Winds are north-northwest at 9 miles per hour. Humidity, 40%, and the barometer just over 30 inches and holding steady. Now, temperatures around our area tonight, well, we have sectional action, boys sectional tonight, and over in Paoli, Indiana, Orange County at Chambers Gymnasium. There at sunny skies, 46 degrees for North Knox and Eastern Green, tipping off in just about an hour. Go down a little bit farther down Highway 150 in Lagodi, Indiana at Jack Butcher Arena, sunny skies and 47 degrees for the Class 1A sectional. And in Washington at the Hatchet House tonight for Vincennes, Lincoln, and Princeton, 49 degrees and sunny skies for tip-off. So pretty good conditions tonight to enjoy an Indiana high school basketball game. Our temperatures nationally, well, we go out to the northeast and we can see very cold temperatures. We have those northwesterly winds swirling around, creating gusts as high as 30 and 40 miles per hour, causing temperatures 10 and 20 degrees below normal for the northeast. And they're still digging out of much of that snow from yesterday. Down in the South Gulf area, 82 degrees for Miami for the PGA event this weekend, a great way to finish out the golf event down there. Out west, well, same conditions as the east, very chilly. We have 36 degrees for Sacramento, California, so very below normal for them as that cold front passed through yesterday. Our surface map's going to show that we still have a very active west coast. We have low pressure centered over California with weak surface trough bringing about some more rain and mountain snow for much of that area. Not good news for them as travel conditions are still very treacherous. Out east, though, the snow that they had yesterday and rain along much of the northeastern seaboard, well, that's gone, and they have sunny skies today, so not bad conditions for them, although very cold. Down in the south, they do have a cold front pushing through around the Gulf area, though they're going to experience some slightly cooler temperatures. For us, well, this high-pressure system centered over the plains region, that's going to move into our area, causing the clouds to clear up tonight and a significant drop in some temperatures. We are going to see, though, that storm that I talked about earlier out in the west coast, that's going to move its way onto our area by the end of the weekend, creating a chance for some precipitation. As we take a look at our forecast for tonight, though, not too bad. Clear skies, low of 25 degrees, pretty chilly. Tomorrow, sunny skies return, high of 46 degrees. And for tomorrow night, a chance for some freezing drizzle late and early Sunday morning. So watch out for that, a low of 31 degrees. Your extended forecast, some rain on Sunday. Monday, we're going to have a high of 48 degrees and some cloudy or partly cloudy skies. And Tuesday, also in the 40s. So, Kristen, this tonight, not too bad to go enjoy a basketball game.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Still to come on Newscenter 22, Amy Reef previews tonight's boys high school sectional action, and Vincennes University is looking for a new athletic director. Stay with us.
Ready?
Wow.
Every single patient should be informed that the mind has a huge impact on the body.
I didn't believe it.
Things as ephemeral as a thought can help you heal.
Just taking the drugs doesn't get to the root of the problem.
It's been very powerful for me.
This is all about choice in medicine.
Alice's and Warriors look to advance. Good evening, everyone. For TV 22 Sports, I'm Amy Reeve. The Indiana Boys High School Basketball Tournament resumes tonight with sectional semifinal action. Fifth-ranked Vincennes Lincoln plays Princeton tonight at 6:30 at the Class 3A Washington sectional. The Alices beat the Tigers during the regular season 75-43. Princeton advanced with a 65-63 overtime win over Pike Central and also owns a regular season win over defending state champ Washington. Speaking of the Hatchets, they drew a first-round bye and played Gibson Southern in the nightcap. At Paoli, North Knox faces Eastern Green right after Linton plays Mitchell. Eastern defeated the Warriors by 20 points during the regular season. However, Eastern enters the tournament on a bit of a slide, having lost 4 of their last 5 games. At the Class A Lagoti sectional, the 2 co-favorites are matched in the first game as Bar Reeve takes on the host Lions, while North Davies meets Washington Catholic in the nightcap. Friday night's winners return tomorrow night to play for the sectional championship. 3 Knox County basketball players were named to the All-Conference Blue Chip team. North Knox is represented by Megan Miller and McKenna Williams, while Courtney Martineau made the squad from South Knox. North Knox's Chelsea Stevens and Allison Frederick and Abby Jones from Vincennes Reveille were named to honorable mention, selected by conference coaches. Vincennes University Athletic Director Denny Myers has resigned in order to take the position as head coach of the new women's track and field program at Rend Lake College in Ina, Illinois. Myers has also coached the Trailblazers men's and women's cross country and track and field programs. He became the Vincennes University Athletic Director in the fall of 2003. VU women's volleyball coach Tina Miller has been named interim athletic director, and Chris Gaffner, an assistant to Myers, will assume head coaching duties for the track and field program, also on an interim basis. The 17th-ranked Vincennes University Trailblazers will host high-scoring Kirtland College Monday night in the NJCAA Region 12 Championship game. The Firebirds are currently the 6th highest-scoring team in the country with a 92-point average, but have scored 100 or more points in 10 of their last 13 games. That statistic clashes with the Blazers' defense, which is rated 25th at 67 points per game. Kirtland has 2 of the top scorers in the country, 6'1" guard Tony Brown and 6'6" forward Sal Cabrera, both freshmen, each averaging 20 points per game. Monday's game tips off at 7 p.m. The winner will host the Iowa Region champion in the district playoff on Tuesday, March 14th. The district winner moves on to the NJCAA Finals beginning March 21st in Hutchinson, Kansas. The Vincennes University men's and women's swimming and diving teams were both 4th after the first day of competition at the NJCAA Championships in San Antonio, Texas. VU's highest finish of the day was 3rd place by the women's 800 freestyle relay team of Lindsay Geiseking, Adam Horrell, Kristen Cleland, and Tori Gagnona, with a time of 8 minutes and 35.45 seconds. 3rd-ranked Memphis may have jeopardized its chances for a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Marvin McDonald scored 17 points and Frank Holmes added 15 as Alabama-Birmingham ended the Tigers' 15-game winning streak 80-74. The Blazers did it by holding Memphis scoreless for an 8-minute stretch late in the game. Darius Washington had 15 points for the Tigers, who dropped to 26-3 overall, with their first loss in 13 Conference USA games. Wichita State survives a scare and advances in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. The top-seeded Shockers trailed 9th-ranked Indiana State by 3 points with nearly 13 minutes to play. But the team came back, outscoring the Sycamores 39-18 the rest of the way en route to an 81-63 win. The game was the first of 4 quarterfinal games today at the tourney in St. Louis. A coach and a player on Purdue's women's basketball team have been suspended indefinitely. The school suspended assistant coach Katrina Merriweather and junior guard Cheryl George in an investigation of possible violations of university and NCAA rules. George won't play for the second-seeded Boilermakers in today's Big Ten tournament game against Illinois. George just received the Big Ten's first ever Sixth Player of the Year award this week. The San Antonio Spurs have moved back into a first-place tie with Dallas in the NBA's Western Conference. Tony Parker had 23 points as the Spurs won their fifth in a row, beating the Mavs 98-89. Michael Finley scored 11 of his 15 points in the fourth quarter to help Greg Popovich earn his 500th career coaching victory. There's still no word on the status of contract talks between the NFL and the Players Union. The two sides worked out an agreement last night that pushed back the start of free agency from midnight last night to Monday. The Indianapolis Colts are offering Pro Bowl linebacker Cato June a one-year contract worth more than $1.5 million. June can still negotiate with other teams as a restricted free agent, but the Colts will get the opportunity to match the deal or get compensation if he signs with another team. Finally in sports, registration for the 2006 Vincennes Cub League season will be held tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Cub League hitting facility. The registration is for those players who have not already returned their registration form by mail. Cost per player is $70 for baseball and softball and $60 for t-ball. And Kristen, that's a look at your sports.
Thank you, Amy. Still to come on Newscenter 22, a preview of the 78th Annual Academy Awards. Stay with us.
Coming up this week on 22 Magazine, Vincennes Mayor Terry Mooney stops by to talk about the state of the city. And Cynthia Regal and Brad Musgrave discuss the TRIO programs at Vincennes University. They're designed to identify disadvantaged students and prepare them for success in college. TRIO includes 2 educational talent search programs and Upward Bound. The next time on 22 Magazine, Saturday night at 7:30 on Wvut.
With just 2 days left, Hollywood is bracing itself for Sunday's 78th Annual Academy Awards. Sibylla Vargas gives us a sneak peek at what we can expect.
I haven't written a word yet.
Journalistic ethics explored in Capote and Good Night and Good Luck.
We're gonna go with the story.
A controversial gay love story in Brokeback Mountain.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
The hot button issue of racism in Crash.
Do we look threatening?
And terrorism and its legacy in Munich.
We have 11 Palestinian names.
The Oscar nominees for Best Picture are a mix of movies with political and social themes.
As opposed to years past when the Oscars had really been dominated by more big-budget special effects movies like Titanic or Lord of the Rings, this year's Best Picture nominees seem to be smaller movies that have a lot more on their mind.
We're gonna go right at him.
What's behind this season of thinking films?
The last few years have been a very politically divisive and politically vibrant time in this country, and I think the film industry this year has really started reacting to that.
And the country appears to have embraced these message-laden films. All the Best Picture candidates are moneymakers, but the Oscar-nominated stars are focused on the big night.
I'm feeling completely ecstatic.
I'm good. Yeah. Just wrapped a movie, so I'm tired.
You're tired.
I'm excited.
I think it's going to be amazing. Sit down, people watch. It should be cool.
Winners to watch for? Brokeback Mountain will be tough to beat in the Best Picture category, but Crash may have a chance.
You have no idea.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, who has already won numerous awards for his work in Capote, is considered the frontrunner in the Best Actor category. And industry experts say Reese Witherspoon will likely walk away with the Best Actress Oscar for her performance in Walk the Line. But until the envelopes are opened and the winners are announced, Hollywood is bustling as the Oscar statuettes are delivered, party preparations are finalized, and that famous red carpet is rolled into place. Sibylla Vargas, CNN, Hollywood.
And that's all for this evening. For Michael Nice and Amy Reif, I'm Kristen Miller. Good night.
This is W.